Hello everyone, and welcome to this webinar. We're going to showcase a quick show of the new tools we call PDMXperts tools. Here we go. So my name is Benoit Bilodeau. I am the manager of the Product Data Management Group at SolidXperts. And the PDMXperts tools basically have been developed with time based on frequent of customers' requests. So we've developed and programmed specific tools for specific customers, but we realized and noticed that some of these tools were asked over and over again, and we were figuring out that maybe it would be a nice thing to make these tools available as a standard package for SolidWorks PDM Professional. So one of the things that it is a SolidXperts exclusivity. So these tools are developed in-house here at SolidXperts, and so they're developed for you by us, but based on, as I was saying, your demands and popular requests. The thing that's interesting with our PDMXperts tools is that they are included when your PDM professionals licenses are on a subscription contract, so a tech support contract, meaning that you don't have any extra cost for the purchase of these tools. But only with PDM professional. People using PDM standard cannot use these tools simply because there are no API available for PDM standards. So even if we wanted to make some tools, we can't, basically. SolidWorks won't allow it. So they are included again with the subscription of your licenses. So as long as you're our customers on subscription at SolidXperts, these tools will be applied, included, improved also, and supported, meaning that if you go with a new version of PDM, the tools will be ready for your upgrade as well. And if wanted, well, our specialists here can integrate these tools and configure them on the initial implementation, meaning that if there's a need for them, and if the specialist notices a specific need that can be covered with these tools, they'll gladly tell you about them and configure them for you. But of course, if there are some of these tools that you would like us to implement for later usage, let's say with time, or a need that arises with time, we'll be very glad to help you implement them as well. So what are these famous tools we're trying to showcase to you? Well, the first one's called Notifications Plus. It is basically an upgrade or improvement of the notification system that already is included with PDM. So we'll talk about that. As well, there's the Cut Experts task. So for some of you, maybe you're familiar with the SolidXperts tools for SolidWorks. So these tool experts are available in these tools. One of them is called Cut Experts. It's basically used to take your sheet metal and do flat patterns, but doing DXF of them with properly configured layouts and layers, so that your laser machine will recognize these DXF right away, and they can be used to produce some parts. So we'll talk about it as a task. That's the little twist we do with the PDMXperts tools. There's an ECR and ECO tool that we've been implementing to many of our customers that we have improved with time. So we'll talk about that one as well. And finally, there is a new tool we've programmed called Sql Connectivity, if you will. It's a tool that allows us to dig and get information into other SQL databases from other software. So basically an ERP, MRP, CRM, all these softwares hold information, and if you need them in a data card in PDM, well, we have a tool to get this information and bring it to PDM. All right, so let's talk about the Notifications Plus tool. Basically, with PDM, you can, when you go in a workflow and ask for an approbation or approval, basically there's a notification that will be sent. This is something that exists already. The twist we've done with that tool is that we make sure that the person or let's say the manager of a certain project will be the only person to get the tool. This is something that's done now in 19, but this is something we've had implemented before. But the new thing is that it gives us more messages, more flexibility on the layouts of the messages you get with call to action. Basically, instead of having just a generic message from PDM, we can create templates in different languages even, and make sure that there are some more information into this message than only saying there is a file that's been changed from state from under editing to awaiting approbation, for instance. We have other actions here like verified document. We can put some more information of what to do, and we can put as many different messages as we want. So for a different workflow or a different transition, the message will be changed to apply to whatever need we have. It's HTML, so anybody who's available, who's good with HTML, who knows a bit about HTML, can create these templates. So you don't need to know how to program to do that. So basically, this is what the Notification Plus tool will do for you. So that's pretty nifty. Then we have the Cut Expert task I was talking about previously. So Cut Expert, basically, if it's a quick overview what Cut Expert does in SolidWorks with the SolidXperts tools, it will create, based on an assembly, all the files in this assemblies that are, let's say, sheet metal, will be then transformed into DXF or DWG, and you can put all the information needed for the different machines. We can do it as well as for solid as well as for sheet metal, depending on your needs. In this case, I'm going to just showcase it quickly to show you what happens with the file in SolidWorks. You need to configure the Cut Experts to make sure that the layouts and layers chosen are the ones that are going to be useful for your machine. You see here blue for the holes and red for the layout of the itself, so the machine knows if it's a hole or if it's just to cut the piece of metal. So you need to properly configure all that. Once this is done, then we can create a task, and this is where the PDMXpert tool come quite useful, because here we can just create a new task as we would do for a convert task or an Office to PDF task included with PDM, but this time we take our own add-in for Cut Experts. And then you would configure this task as you would for any other type of task you'd be configuring in the PDM administration tool, but you'll also add some more information for the parameters of export, which type of file you want. Is it for only sheet metal? And which folder in PDM you want these files to be created? If you create these files in PDM, you'll be able then to link them to the source file. You name them with the file name, let's say revision, for instance, as we've done it before for PDFs or other type of files. And you will also have to select a log file. You can create a link with the source file. So there's a where use and contain in PDM can be used here properly. And basically here, and you can also export into another machine. Let's say you want to export it right away to a server available for the laser cut machine, and then this task becomes available. You'll just add it to the proper workflow when you approve it, for instance. Then you can just add the action of creating all these DXF files using the Cut Expert power, which is way more than the usual flat layout of a DXF done within SolidWorks. So this is where the tool comes very, very handy. I mean, are the companies that are using Cut Experts today and are planning to purchase PDM or have PDM already will probably love the fact that they can now automate all this using a simple workflow. So that is for the Cut Expert tool. The ECR and ECO tool is a simple tool for us that allows people to create an ECO form straight from SolidWorks, from PDM Works. So here we just have a form for the file we'd like to be modified, and you would also decide to add some more files from PDM, another folder, maybe another part that will be included into the same ECR or ECO. So you just add this part straight from here. And once this is done, you can simply create the ECR. Notice here that you cannot, for a file under editing, ask for an ECR. The file has, in our case, that has to be released in order to change, have for a change request. So we protect this basically properly with that. So here, it will start a form, an Excel form, that will be automatically created with the proper information, with the number, the ECO number, the creator of the ECO, the date, and so on and so forth. And you could here see it's checked out by admin automatically, and you can add a description straight into the Excel form. And you could add some information about the change that is required to be done. And once this is entered in the system, then you will notice that, yes, it is into the Excel file, but the data card of that file will also have this information. So it's bidirectional. When you put something in a field, then it will also be available in the data card. And if you modify it straight from the data card, then you'll notice that in PDM, this will be also updated. So this is for the creation of the form itself through a template. Then notice that when you approve this file, now there's a link between the ECR form. If you look at the Contain tab, you will notice, well, let's just to show you the data card first, as I was telling you previously. But if you look at the Contains tab, you will notice now in the ECO, there's the file that needs to be, the part that needs to be changed, and vice versa. If you look at the part itself and you go to Where Used tab, you will see now the ECO applied to that part. So it gives you a traceability. It gives you a track record of what has been done or changed or asked to be changed on a certain part. So all this can be done straight into PDM. You don't need to, let's say, purchase an ERP just for that. For instance, if you need an ERP for something else, fine. But if you don't need an ERP for now, you could use PDM to create all these these ECO, ECR form. At last, the last tool that I'm going to talk about today is this Sql Connectivity tool. So, of course, a lot of our customers are using a CRM or ERPs or MRPs, and they would love to tap into these databases to get some information. So with this, we can allow that to happen. So there's here an example of a SQL database in which we have different tables. And let's just look at this one, which is a shipping method table. It's in SQL. You already have this information from your other software. You'd like to have this information in PDM. So why not try to tap into that? So our utility here allows us to do that. So with our the list or the lookup, the lookup portion of it, we can easily have multiple lookups, let's say for shipping, and decide that with a query that we've created here to get this information, the table I was showing you previously, then from there, we can decide to attach the column result to a variable into the data card. So basically, that's what we do here. And the way the result it gives us will simply be in the data card itself in PDM. So in a specific file, if you look at this file and you go into the shipping tab and you select a list of the methods, and that comes from the other database, right? By selecting it, you fill in two other values in two other variables. So that's very interesting. Right away, you get this information. You don't have to copy it, rewrite it, so no chances to lose that. We have more, we sometimes have something more complicated. Let's say here we have products that are being sold by different vendors. And to know which ones are sold by which ones, we have another table here. So there are three tables involved. So you have to figure it out. You have to analyze the databases of the other software. Once you understand them, you can create your query and just put it in the list creator here. Now, the list creator allows us to have different level of lists, And using the result from the first one will trigger search on the second one and trigger another search on the third one. So they're all dependent on the previous value. This is the interesting twist with that tool. We have, and yeah, the query was a bit more complicated, but once we created it, well, it uses a value coming from the first one, and the third value takes, of course, information from the second value, depending on what you select. So a quick example of that, just to show you there's 6 levels we've created. 6 is a lot, but if we need more with time, we can add some more. So here I click on the go button and I decide to click, and this comes from the database. This is the products that are being sold. And by clicking one of them, we decide that, oh, they are, what we don't decide, the database tells us there are 3 reseller, and we click one and automatically we get its account number. And this is done straight from the database, and it populates the 3 variables without having to do any cut and paste, preventing thus all kinds of transcription errors. So this is a really, really, really powerful tool. We believe that with that we can cover a lot. This tool is not to push information into these databases, it is to acquire information in all type of SQL database. We need SQL as a database, Microsoft SQL Server. Obviously, we haven't worked with other databases yet, but for now, most of our customers are using SQL database. So basically, if we review what we've been looking at today, we've been looking at Notifications Plus tool. And basically what it is, it allows you improved flexibility and accuracy to notifications, meaning that you have more a more accurate message in the notifications that you will be sending to the proper user, individual, or person that needs to approve the document. Then you get the CodeXpert task. In this case, it automates the use of CodeXperts within PDM in a workflow. This is the real true power of that task. It is not, CodeXperts exists already, and I have to repeat that you need to configure it with SolidWorks before to make sure that the proper result will be given. But once you've done that, the power of that tool is to automate it through a PDM approval cycle. Then the ECO and ECR tool, well, basically what it allows you to automate the creation of these forms and also make sure that it creates a traceability and an audit trail on all these ECR, ECO, all these requests that are being done in the system will always be, available in the history and the were used and contained. So this is giving you another power for searching information and get the proper information. And lastly, and not the least in my opinion, the Sql Connectivity tool is really powerful. It really allows a lot of information to be transferred from external databases and making sure it integrates easily without programming skill. I'm saying without programming skill, keep in mind that you need to analyze these databases of the other software. If you're not very used to analyze or use SQL Server or database, or maybe you need to hire a database analyst, or maybe simply ask the reseller of this other software if they couldn't help you identify the query needed to get the information you need. This can be done also from the other software reseller, sorry. So this pretty much sums it up. Only another thing I'd like to tell you is that there are more tools to come quite soon. I am not going, I'll keep a secret, I'll make sure that you'll want to see the next presentation when we're coming with these tools out, but there's at least 2 of them, if not a bit more, maybe 3. And I've seen some previous versions of them, and we believe these tools are going to be some game changer with the way we use PDM. And that's it. So thank you very much for having attended this this presentation, and hope you got some good information out of it. Thank you very much.